Very good morning, dear students. Today is the first day of the summer hobby class for the senior sections. Today we have a workshop on robotics. So, before going to the workshop, I would like to show you one small video clip of 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay, I don't want to block it.
Welcome to Nilika, Mr. President. I'm Asimov, a humanoid robot. Here I go. I can hear.
It's going to be pretty hard, huh? If it hits me in the nose, it'll be
I
terrible.
can keep you watching.
Okay, come on, I'm ready. Right here?
Here I go.
Hey!
This is Pepper. Manufactured by SoftBank Robotics, Pepper is the world's first social humanoid robot that is able to recognize faces and basic human emotions. Pepper has been adopted by over 2,000 companies around the world. Introducing Spot, a robot dog designed for industrial uses, such as carrying goods through a warehouse and inspecting a remote site with an unfavorable environment for human operators. It can run at 5.2 feet per second, has 360-degree cameras, and can operate in temperatures ranging from 4 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. With its API and flexible payload interface, the robot can be easily customized for desired tasks.
Dear students, I hope you all have enjoyed the video. But here a question arises. In this video, what is challenging the human beings? Who is playing with the human beings? And what is making the work easier for the human beings? Yes, they all are robots. So, welcome again to all of you to this robotic workshop. Let's go forward. So, in this session, what we are going to discuss and what we are going to learn. First, we will discuss on what is a robot, then basic architecture of a robot, then structure of a robot, and different equipment used in the robot we are going to make today. Then we'll have a hands-on activity on making an obstacle avoiding robot. So, what is a robot? You can share your answer in the chat box. What is a robot? I'm waiting for your responses. Okay, let's discuss. Robot is any machine that is automatically operated and replaces human effort is called a robot. That machine operated automatically. Automatically means a situation will give a situation to the machine. Machine will respond to the situation as the way we have programmed it or we have instructed it. Any machine, if that machine is following our predefined instruction, we can call that machine a robot. Then let's discuss about the basic architecture of a robot, right? If we consider and we'll simplify all the things, we can get three things out of it. Robot or any machine, we can call it as a system. It is a system which combines basic three things. One is input part, second processing part, then output part. Similarly here, we have three blocks. One is sensor block, second one is the microcontroller block, third one is the output block. Let's discuss all the three blocks in details. First, let's discuss about the sensors. What is the sensor? Any answers from your side, dear students? What do you think? What is the sensor? Okay, recognize a particular motion. Any other answers? Okay, let's discuss. Take output. A device that sense any activity. Okay. Before going to that electronic sensor or technical in term which we are calling sensor, let's go to the system of a human body. Our human body is also a system which combines all these three things. We have sensing organ, we have a processing organ, and we have output organs, right? So we have five sensing organs. What are they? Eye, ear, nose, skin, tongue, etc. Right? So what they are actually doing? So my question is here, suppose I am exposed to a heat circumstances. Let's suddenly I toss the fire. How my brain is recognizing? My question is the temperature at the fire is directly going to our brain? Please answer. No. When we see some object, one object we are observing, we know that light fall on that object, it return back to our eye so that we can see. My question is that light is directly going to our brain? No. Second thing, suppose we are hearing or listening something, some good music. Is that music of any singer is directly going to our brain in the form of some lyrics or some voice? No. No sensor directly transform the same thing to our brain or the processing unit. It converts to something, right? Suppose I am touching a heat surface, that heat or that temperature, it converts to some biological signals. That signal is given to our brain. That is the microcontroller of our human body system or brain of the system. Similarly, in the sensor which we are talking about, which we are going to use in different kind of automated things, they also do the same thing. What they are doing, the sensors, they are converting the physical quantities like heat, some vision, or any type of physical quantities to an electrical signal, which we can process through a microcontroller and we can get a desired output, or we can function some output devices so that our objective will be fulfilled, right? So in one line, if I will tell you what is a sensor, is a sensor is a device which converts the the physical quantities of our surroundings, of our surrounding worlds, into a electrical signal, right? Suppose I will ask you one question. I have made one system that needs to detect a human face. So which device I need to use? It is very familiar to you all. Yes, someone said OpenCV. OpenCV is the module or the library. So device is the camera, right? It's a camera, simple. Suppose I want that my voice should be converted into some electrical signal. Yes, it's mic. These two are very common example of a sensor. Okay. I hope now you have got some ideas about sensor. Let's go to the microcontroller or brain of any system. Even we are having also a microcontroller. That is our brain. What a microcontroller do? It takes the inputs from the sensor, process it according to our predefined instructions, and it gives instruction to the output devices to work accordingly. Suppose in our human body also, we'll discuss, whenever Suppose one ant came and bite us. What we do? Yes, I am waiting. Suppose a ant came and bite us. Then what we are doing? Yes, we are beating it or just moving it from our skin by our hand. So how this thing happen? It is also a process. It is also an action. Okay. First, the ant bites to our skin. The skin sends a biological signal to our brain. Immediately, our brain responds to the situation and start working with our output devices. That may be our hand, that may be our leg, or anything. But if we'll consider the same case with a little baby, newborn baby, what he or she is doing, how the baby is responding, crying. They cry, right? That baby cries. Why cries? The baby is having that sensor, the microcontroller, and output device. Both everything he or she has. But why is the baby is crying? You are having also the same thing. That baby also having the same thing. Why the baby is crying, but you are not crying? Because we have developed our brain to respond the situation. How to respond the situation? The baby having the microcontroller or the brain, but it is not programmed to respond some situations, right? That the brain, it is not programmed, or no instruction has been fed to it to respond that particular situation. Even we people also suddenly, sometimes even we have completely means grown up, in a grown up age, we have already grown up. Even some situation arises in front of us, we suddenly cannot decide what to do, right? That means that programming or the instruction part, it is very much essential and important. Suppose one example I will give you. Nowadays COVID happening everywhere, many people got affected. Suppose suddenly fever came to me and I went to test, done some test, suddenly that result came positive. My mind is not ready to accept this. How to handle the situation? Suddenly different type of negative thoughts came to me. I'm watching daily news. Many people are dying. Now my number has came. And a few days left in my life. This type of things means restless. I became restless. Why? Because I have not trained my brain to face that situation. Okay. But in the same situation, many people, they are saying, okay, it's okay. It is happening everywhere. It will be cured if I'll take some uh, good precautions and take good medicine timely. So it will be cured. It is a not good, great thing. So my point is, brain is in both sides, but who has programmed the brain in a better way, the system works in a better way. Okay, the brain which become restless, it has not programmed to handle that situation in a better way. But who handles, that means you have programmed, or you have exercise in your brain to respond the situation. Similarly, in any system, if your programming or the instruction, it is not good enough, your system may not work properly. Even if we have a good microcontroller, the proper programming or the instruction, it is very much essential. Okay, then output. The output devices, they get the signal or the controlling signal from the microcontroller. Let's understand the entire process. The initial part is the sensor. It gives the signal to the microcontroller. Okay, according to the sensor, according to the situation or the signal given by the sensor, microcontroller uh, works the process the signal, but that function should be predefined. Then according to it, it gives the a signal to the output devices, and the output devices responds. Then the entire objective of a system is fulfilled. Okay, then let's go to the next slide. Structure of a robot. So one question arises here: is it necessary that structure of all robots should be same? Please answer. No. If you are thinking that every robot should look like a human being, the answer is no. Okay, because every robot has their specific task. As I have shown in this picture, the first one is the humanoid robot. It's look like a human because its function is to interact with the humans, to be a companion to the human beings, right? So it is looking like a human so that human can accept it. But in the second picture, we have a medical robot. What that robot it is doing? It is doing some operations, critical operations. Okay. Accordingly, it is designed. Third one, it is an industrial robot. Okay. It is an industrial robot. Industrial robot means it is designed to work in some industries, to lift something, to place something. Accordingly, it is designed. So, structure of a robot, it is not same always. It depends upon our objective of work, right? Okay. Then we have today we are going to design a obstacle avoid robot. The function of the robot is whenever a obstacle comes in front of it, so it will just move, it will turn itself to avoid that obstacle, right? To do that, what we have used here, one plyboard, you can take cardboard as well, or any hardboard plastic sheet of 20 cm into 10 cm, and you can choose your size also. Okay, so to detect the obstacle, to detect the obstacle of uh, in front of the robot, we need a sensor. Otherwise that system cannot detect anything in front of it. Like we have the sensor, our eye, we can see, so that we can avoid, but how the machine will do, it need a sensor. So here we are using a ultrasonic sensor. So as a microcontroller, we have taken a Arduino Uno, right? We'll discuss on it in detail. Then motor driver L298, two DC motors, two free wheels, all the things I will show you while doing it. Four wheels, four DC motor clamps, which will help to fix the motors. Some jumper wires to connect for the connections, some nut and bolts to uh, fix the motor clamp and the motors. Power supply to give power to the robot. We have taken here 12 volt 2 ampere, and hot glue gun and stick for fixing the components or the equipments. Okay, so let's discuss on the equipment we are using. Here, the first thing we'll discuss, that is the ultrasonic sensor. So how a ultrasonic sensor works? Students, you can see the diagram or the picture of a ultrasonic sensor. The blue one having two circle type of things, that is the sensor. If you can see here, one T is written. Here T stands for transmitter. Here R stands for receiver. Right? Here 4 pins are there. One VCC pin is there. We need to give power supply positive 5 volt to it, and then one ground pin is there. Both pins are for power purpose, means powering the sensor so that it can work. Next, remaining 2 pins, one is trigger pin, in short it is written trig, another one is echo. So let's discuss how it works. Okay. Ultrasonic sensor works the principle on sound. We will send a radio frequency sound from the transmitter, and that sound strikes with the object and it returns back. Right? Which animal use this principle to detect obstacle? Can you answer? Which animal? Animal or bird? Yes, it's a bat. Bat you have seen sometimes in evening, they enters in your home but don't strike anywhere. They find their own way. Okay. So it's a bat. How it works? Whenever we give a pulse to the trigger pin, the transmitter of the sensor, it emits a radio wave. Here in right side you can see in the picture, transmitter in the blue waves, it is transmitting a radio wave that is striking with the object and returning back. When it returns back, it is received by the receiver. So how we know the distance? The transmission time by transmission time and receiving time divided by 2. Okay, so we get the distance or time taken to travel the signal and to return back. Okay. Next, I hope you have you got some ideas of ultrasonic sensor. If any doubt, please ask. Again, I can repeat. Okay. Okay. Repeat the trig and echo again. Okay. Trigger is the pin. Whenever we will give a signal or a pulse from the microcontroller to the trigger pin, so immediately it will start. Who will start? The sensor will start transmitting a radio frequency, radio wave to the atmosphere. Okay, that radio wave will transmit and strike with an object in front of it, and that wave will be returned back, which will be received by the receiver, and that wave is given to the echo pin, okay, which we give to the microcontroller to do the necessary action. Okay, in this principle, radar works. Okay, radar, you know, defense system, we use radar to detect some enemy aircraft or ship. Radar works in same principle. Even we use this type of small ultrasonic sensor in our day-to-day life also. If you have visited some shopping malls or hospitals, or airport, you might have seen when you are about to enter, one glass door is there, it automatically opens. When you enter, then it automatically closes. There also the same sensor it is used. Okay. Now let's discuss about Arduino Uno. Okay. Here we are using the Arduino Uno as the microcontroller or brain of the system. Let's discuss about the pins first. If you can see here in right side, it is up to 13 you see. 0 to 13, these all are digital pins. Okay.
Tanmay sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Very good morning. Good morning, children. Rishabh Mishra. What are you asking and to whom are you asking? Rishabh Mishra, class 11. What are you asking and to whom are you asking? So if you don't wish to continue in this class, leave it. What wrong lesson you are writing? If your mind is working elsewhere and you don't take any interest in this specific class, please don't disturb. You keep writing wherever you are writing to. Rishabh, could you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
What? To whom are you writing now? You
No,
are
ma'am,
in this
actually-
robotic
ma'am,
class.
actually, in this meeting, another boy was asking me, and asking me something. That's why I was replying.
Please, if people are in class 11, you should have seen how LKG, UKG 1 and 2 children they are writing and how much involved they are. They are interacting with the teachers in respect of the particular class that they are attending. And you people in the senior classes, you are just diverted, distracted even during the classes. And
No,
this
ma'am,
is
in
what
this
is happening exactly in your
Ma'am,
online class as well.
ma'am, in this meeting, another person was asking me something. I was replying to him, the wrong listen to
No,
everyone.
you concentrate on the specific class that you were attending to.
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Sir, please continue.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So we are discussing about the brain of the system or the microcontroller which we are going to use in this particular robot. So let's discuss about the pins, because these pins are very much important to know. Why? Because we are going to give signal or take output from the microcontroller through the pins. If you can see from the in the right side, from 0 to pin number 13, these pins are digital pins. What is digital pin and what is analog? I will discuss in few minutes. Let's see in the left side. If you can see here A0 to A5, 6 pins are there. These pins are used, these pins are there to interface with the analog signals. Okay, and the upper part, these are the power pin. So now, what is analog? Why this analog pin is required and why this digital pin is required? So students, sensors are two types. Some sensors give us analog signal as output and some sensors give us digital signal as output. So to deal with the analog signals, so we need to use these analog pins, and to deal with the digital signals, we have these digital pins. Right. Now question may arise, what is analog and what is digital? Okay, one example suppose I will give. Suppose we'll track the temperature of the entire day and plot a graph of it. Plot a graph of this temperature throughout the day. So the graph will be a linear graph or a non-linear graph? Please answer. The temperature of a day, if we'll put in a graph, the graph will be a linear or non-linear. Yes, it will be a non-linear graph because time to time the temperature is varying. Suppose in morning time temperature is low. In 12 the temperature is very high. Similarly in evening it is low. So it is fluctuating. The value is not fixed. Okay. So we can call, if you take a sensor and to measure the temperature, so it will give us the analog signal. Okay. But in digital, it gives us a fixed value. Like in computer, we study computer works on two things, that is 1 or 0. These are the digital signals. So one more example I will give. Suppose I will ask you, have you eaten? So someone will ask me, someone will tell me 50% eaten or 70 eating. No, this is not digital. If you will tell that yes, I have eaten, no, I have not eaten. So this is digital. Yes or no? It is the situation is fulfilling. Yes, tell me yes or no. That is digital. If it is varying, the signal or the situation is varying, that is analog. If you'll ask the door is open or closed, you will tell it's opening. That means it is not digital. Means the position of the door is varying. If you'll tell yes, it is open or no, it is not open. Like this, if I'll tell you in a simple word, simple sentence, what is digital and what is analog? Any signal that varies with time, any signal that varies with time, it is a analog signal. If a signal does not vary with the time and having two value, either yes or no, or 1 or 0, okay, that is a digital signal. Am I clear? If you have a doubt, you can ask. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So,
Tanmay sir, somebody is writing. Sir, please repeat what is digital.
yes, ma'am. What is digital? Listen, suppose one more example I will give. Again I am repeating, if a situation is varying with time, it is analog. If a situation having a constant value, that is digital. Okay, suppose I will ask you, the light is switched on or off. You will tell me. You will tell me off or on. That means it stands in between these two things. Either it is on, either it is off, not in between that. Okay. This type of things we can call it as digital. In digital, we are always telling that computer works on 0 or 1. If I'll go more detail in technically, suppose one sensor gives an output ranging from 0 volt to 5 volt. Okay. Another sensor gives the output from 0 to 5 volt. But if the situation is correct, then it will give you 5 volt. or the situation is not satisfying, then it will give you 0 volt. But in same situation, another sensor, analog sensor, it may give you value of 0.2, 1.2, 3.5, like this you can get. Okay. So digital sensors, they always give us fixed values, two fixed values. Suppose one more example, temperature. One sensor will design, suppose the temperature rises above 30 degree, then it will give us a signal. If the temperature below 30 degree, even 29.9 also, it will not give us signal. That type of sensors are called digital sensors. Right? Am I clear?
Tanmay sir,
Yes, ma'am.
Rishabh has also written something. Just see his question. He has asked something.
Can we? Okay. So here we are not going to connect the motors directly to the Arduino. Okay. We are using a motor driver. Why we cannot connect the motor directly to the Arduino or the microcontroller? Because microcontroller operates in very little current, in microampere range. Okay, if I'll give a load of a heavy current, means which is drawing more current, so it may damage the microcontroller. We can connect two separate pins, but through a motor driver. Directly we cannot connect. This are you clear? Okay. Let's discuss the motor driver. Why we use a motor driver? So, students, I hope you have some basic knowledge of DC motor. Suppose I am giving a motor, positive DC motor mainly. I am not discussing about AC motor. This DC motor particularly, positive sign is there, negative sign is there. Positive, I have given positive, negative, I have given negative. So it will rotate in a particular direction. If I will change the wire, what will happen? The motor will stop, or motor will burn, or something else will happen. Please answer. If I will just reverse the terminal, yes, it will rotate in opposite direction, right? Here, the motor driver, use of the motor driver is to control the direction of the motor. If you can see, here we have 4 inputs, input 1, input 2, input 3, input 4. 2 input for one motor. Here 2 input for another motor. This is the output. Here we can connect one motor, and here also we can connect one motor. Whenever we give the input to the first set of the inputs, that is input 1, input 2, if we will change the logic means that is 1 or 0 in the digital signal. Okay, if we will change the logic here, the motor driver, what it will do, the motor driver will rotate or change the direction of the motor. So changing logic here, we can control the direction of the motor automatically. So if you are going to design a robot and we need to change, when we need to change the direction, again we will manually open the wires, again we will twist. No, not this thing, not, it is not easy and it is impractical actually. Okay, that's why we are using the motor driver. Here also another 2 sets of input to control the motor, second motor. But from where we give the input to the to the motor driver? From the microcontroller or the Arduino we have seen before, right? Yes, servo motors, they even small servo motors, they can be directly connected with the microcontroller reserve, but the big motors which have more load capacity, they cannot be connected to the microcontroller directly. And another more reason is there, servo control we don't give power directly from the microcontroller, only we are giving the signal to the servo from the microcontroller, so that's why we can use it. Okay, so here this in particular motor driver, if you can see where my cursor is, it is a 5-volt voltage regulator. We are giving input as 12 volt. So through through the regulator, it converts it to 5 volt, so that we can use this 5 volt for other applications such as powering, giving power to the Arduino or the microcontroller or the sensor. So we don't need a different power supply to power the other things. Okay. Okay. Let's train the brain or coding begins. So this is the code. Let's discuss the code. So here I have taken four variables, that is RMF means right motor front, right motor back, left motor forward, left motor backward. Okay, for that I have taken 3, 4, 5, 6, the digital pins. Okay, the digital pins in the Arduino, we have taken these 4 pins which will be connected with the motor driver. Motor driver, I have shown you 4 pins are there. These 4 pins of the microcontroller will be connected to the motor driver, through which we are going to give the command to the motor driver, so that we can control the direction of the robot. Next thing is to connect the sensor. Sensor, I have shown you 2 pins are there. One trigger pin, one echo pin. Trigger pin, it is connected in pin number 9 of the Arduino, and echo pin, it is connected in the pin number 8 of the Arduino. Okay. In this code setup part, mainly we declare the pin and its function. That digital pins or the analog pins, they can act in both way. They can be used as output pins, they can be as input pins. Okay, so here trigger pin, it is the output, because we are giving the output to the trigger pin to start the ultrasonic sensor. And echo pin, it is input, because it is receiving the echoes of the striked wave back to the sensor. So we have declared the echo pin as input pin, and look here, these 4 pins RMFF, previously we have declared as 3, 4, 5, 6. Here also, here we are declaring the nature of the pins. The nature of the pins are output, because it is giving the output from the microcontroller to the motor driver. Through these pins, we are giving instruction to the motor driver. So it becomes a output pin for the microcontroller. Here we have taken a variable long. It's not a variable, it's a data type. It is long, and the variables are durations and distance. Why we have taken in this code, we'll get the details. First, what we need to do? We need to give a triggering pulse to the trigger pin. Then we will receive it and judge how much distance the obstacle is. Digital write trigger pin low. Initially, it is doing the pin or the making the pin low, so that no interference or interference will happen. giving a delay so that the microcontroller will wait for 2 microseconds. Next line is digital write trigger pin high. Trigger pin high means the microcontroller will give a pulse to the trigger pin so that the sensor will start sending a ultrasonic wave to the atmosphere. Then waiting for 10 microseconds to return back to the when the signal will return back. For that we have used a command here, delay microsecond of 10 second, 10 microsecond. Then digital write trigger pin low. Once we have received the signal, no need to again give the pulse to the trigger pin. So we are switching off the trigger pin by giving a low command. Low means 0 volt, high means 5 volt. So previously we have taken one variable duration here. So what is the duration? We are declaring it. Actually, what is a variable? Under that variable, we store some information or data, right? So previously we have declared the variable, but not defined the data. So here we are defining. Duration is equal to pulse in echo pin high. Pulse in, it is a command. It will detect when the pulse is getting or the signal is getting in a particular pin. Pulse in echo pins means when the echo pin is getting pulse and how much time, that is the duration. Okay. Then distance. Distance equals to duration divided by 58 by 58.2. This data, it is a manufacturer based data to use to calculate the distance. Okay. So in output, it will show us the distance. If I'll place my hand in front of the sensor, it will show me the distance of the obstacle from the robot. Okay. So here we are applying two conditional loops, if and else. Okay. So we have programmed the robot. If a obstacle comes near or close than 20 centimeters, then it will turn left. So to turning the left, we are making one pin high, second pin low, then third pin low, fourth pin high. Right? If when this thing will happen, when this condition will happen, now only when the distance is less than 20 centimeter. How we got the distance from this? Okay, by calculating all these things. If the distance is not less than 20 seconds, then what will happen? Then the else loop will start working, right? Else loop will start working. Means here we have written these functions so that the motor or the robot can only move forward. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, Anis is asking something.
Yes, yes.
Can we decrease
Yes,
the
yes,
distance to
definitely.
10 cm?
Yes, definitely. Only you need to change here. Here it is 20. You just write it 10. Then upload. Okay. Definitely we can change. So this is all about the coding or the programming part of the robot, which will upload to the Arduino. So to upload, we are using this USB cable. 1 second, I am switching my camera. So this is the Arduino board. Is it clear? Is it visible?
Can you stop the screen share now?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Ah.
Okay. So by using this USB cable, I can upload the code to the microcontroller. Now see, the microcontroller gets the power through now I am uploading the code. Yes, now it is uploaded. Now I can, now whatever code I have written, that it's fed into the microcontroller. Now let's do the connections. First, we have taken this wooden board, we have cutted this, and for the time management, I have fixed this equipment. One second. So please see the circuit diagram we'll discuss. Please take a screenshot. Yes, we can use Raspberry Pi as a microcontroller, but the programming language will change. In that case, we need to use Python. Here we are using C and C++. Okay, please take a screenshot so that I can stop sharing and focus on the hands-on activity. Otherwise, I will send you in last. Okay. Right. So as in the program or the coding, we have chosen pin number 3, 4, 5, 6 as the pins to be connected with the motor driver, which will control the motor. So I am going to connect these pins with this jumper wires. Then connecting pin number 3, then 4, then 5, then okay. These 4 pins I have connected in the microcontroller. Similarly, this again I will connect these pins to the motor driver. Starting from pin number 3. Pin number 3 will go to pin number input 1 of the motor driver. So here I am connecting. Then pin number 4 to the second, pin number 5 to the third, pin number 6 to the fourth one. Okay, now the motor driver is connected. Students, here I have connected 2 motors. Here 2 free wheels. No motor is there, it can move free. Here I can attach the wheels. Let's attach the wheels. With the help of screwdriver. So fix all the four wheels. Two wheels are fixed. Tight it so that it will not come out while it is rotating. Then okay, almost all motor are fixed. Final last wheel I am attaching. Okay. Now see, all the four wheels have attached, and we have connected the microcontroller with the motor driver. Here we have taken two wires from each motor. Here you can see we have taken output. So these two wires for two motors. This wire for this right motor. This one for this left motor. So I am going to connect it to the output of the motor driver. One thing you see here, if if you are changing these wires, then also your motor can work wrongly in wrong direction. If after connecting this, if this thing happens, you can change the wires. Suppose I have connected in this way, but it is working reversely, so that you can change it. After that, you can change it, so that again it will work perfect. Okay, now the motor is almost fixed with the motor driver. Okay, let's connect the ultrasonic sensor with the microcontroller. So we have taken pin number 9 as trigger pin. You can see, I'll focus it. You can see here one trigger pin is there and echo pin is there. So first I need to connect that. Trigger pin I will connect in pin number 9. This is the trigger pin. Then is the echo pin. Both pin I have connected in the sensor. Now I will connect it in the microcontroller. Trigger pin number 9 and echo pin number 8, as we have written in our program. You can choose any other pin as per your choice, and accordingly you need to connect. So here I have joined or soldered two jumper wires for powering purpose. Okay, to power the Arduino and the sensor as well. Then I will connect the VCC. This red one is the VCC or 5 volt. I'll connect it here. Okay, and this gray one is the ground pin I have connected. So here, this blue wire I am using as positive, and this green wire as negative, where I will give a power pin of the Arduino. Blue one I will give in positive 5 volt. 5 volt, this is the 5 volt pin, and this is the ground pin. So now almost our robot is complete. Only we need to connect the power pin. So here I told you before, in this motor driver, one 5-volt regulator is there, which is giving us 5-volt as output in this pin, so that we can take this 5-volt to power the Arduino and the sensor as well. Okay. So here I am using power supply of 12-volt. Externally I have taken. Now I will fix it. So this is the ground connection I am connecting now. Then I will tighten the screw that it will not come out. So this is the input 12-volt positive, which we are giving to the motor. Now the input is also connected. Now the remaining is the output 5-volt. That output 5-volt I will keep this pin so that we can take output and power the Arduino and the sensor as well. See, this wire may stuck somewhere, so that I can glue it. Fix it through glue, so it will not disturb us, or the connection will not move. The robot will start moving. Wait for a few seconds till it will dry. Carefully do this because it is very hot. This glue particularly. Let it dry. Okay. And this one is dried. And now we are going to test our robot. Test it. I am taking it to the ground. We have placed our robot here. I will switch on the power. See, it is moving. Now detected obstacle. It turns moving. Suppose I am going to think with here. See, it is going straight. Detected obstacle and turn. Again detecting obstacle, turn. It will again. And then it is going straight. Suppose it is going detected obstacle and took a turn. It is going, suppose I will come in front of it, it is detected, then it is turning. And like it came in front of it, it is turning. Suppose it is in front of it, it is turning. So detected obstacle, now it is automatically moving. Detected obstacle, again it is moving. It is creating its own way. So I take in front of it, so it is It is not striking. It is making its own way. Suppose I will place my hand here. So no obstacle, it is going straight. I'll keep my hand here. So it will start turning. Obstacle. My hand here. It is not striking with my hand, only rotating and avoiding striking it. So dear students, have seen how a robot is detecting the obstacle and avoiding it. So you can also make many projects by using this concept. If you have some doubt, please you can ask.
Tanmay sir, just go through the chat box. If some of them have written something, you can just have a look at it.
Yes, Stita Pragya, we can use L293D motor driver also. Why I have used this? Because it can handle a large amount of current. Any other doubt?
Anis, everything shall be shared. Don't worry.
Yes, I
Anis,
can ask your doubt.
everything will be shared. The whole presentation of sir will be shared with all of you. Don't worry about that.
Okay. So I hope you have enjoyed this session. Try to make something. Don't waste your time. Nowadays, many problems are happening around us. Try to identify it and think: can we solve the problem through technology? The identification of the problem, it is very much important. I'll suggest you in this free time, please try to identify such problems. Try in your level. If it is not possible, then please contact me. We can discuss on it and we can find out a solution. I am sharing the PPT in the group. And the code as well. If you want to try this, you can try it out. I have sent the PPT and the code as well. Okay, students, please stay in home. Don't go outside unnecessarily. Take care of yourself. Have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Students, I have a request. As already told you so many times, when you are logging into these classes, please do log in by your name, class, section, and roll number. Somebody has logged in to QCOM BTD. I have written who is it, but nobody responded. So please make it a habit to log into these classes with your name, class, section, and roll number. Thank you, Tanmay sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, children. Class 3, 4, and 5. You do not have any class today. Class 3, 4, and 5. All these painting classes have been uploaded in the YouTube. Please see to it and practice. You don't have any class today. 3, 4, and 5, those who have joined. Thank you.